If I wanted to be somebody who would just kind of pussyfoot around and look at bills and say, ooh, I wonder how the folks back home on those difficult issues. You know, sometimes when you're dealing with civil rights, with the individuals, the rights guaranteed to all of us, Tana, by the Bill of Rights and the wonderful Bill of Rights we have in the Kentucky Constitution, you cannot ignore it, and when they are blatantly violated by ugly, ugly talk of colleagues on the floor who stand up and say outrageous things. I cannot stand up and speak. You all probably remember several years ago when our beloved Ernesto Scorsoni was the senator from this district. That brave, smart man was not cowed by the president of the Senate. He did not back down. He always stood up, and much more eloquently than I ever can, gave it to the whole floor of the Senate. He spoke the truth. And the president of the Senate, do you all remember the time that our senator was speaking out on behalf of us? And the president of the Senate looked at him and said, "Shut up and sit down." Remember that? It was outrageous. He didn't want to hear it. He did not want to hear a beacon of light speaking the truth on behalf of all Kentuckians. That was outrageous, and the president was forced to back down. And you know why? Because there are microphones there, and because Ernesto was duly elected. He had every right to be on that floor. Now, what has happened to the citizens of this district is that doesn't want to hear me anymore either. Doesn't want to hear me? He has to from time to time because I'm duly elected and I have the right to stand up and advocate on behalf of the issues we hold dear. But you know what? You know what he can do? I'm sure it took a while to figure this out. He's a smart man. He's always a smart man. But he figured out a strategy that would silence me for at least 2 years. Because the way they have devised it, after I leave office at the end of December of this year, I'm out for 2 years. I can't run again because, they were so clever in changing an odd number to an even number. So it's 2014. And you know what? He really, really missed the mark. Sometimes you get so arrogant that you forget the real effects of things and how they affect people. He thought, well, I'm getting that woman. I'm getting her. She won't be here to talk anymore in 2 years. He forgot who you all, he was getting all of you all. He didn't recognize that. Perhaps he's beginning to recognize it now. I believe that he and Senator Damon Thayer from right over in Scott County were invited to be here today.
They were. I invited them.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to be here because here you are, folks who want answers, and we invited them to say, citizens here would like to ask you very, very calmly and civilly, why exactly was this necessary? Why did you have to bring a fine senator from Western Kentucky to Lexington? And why did you have to remove our senator to a part of the state that she does not know, and you know she's not going to move to? That is the most blatant disregard of democracy and the principles that we are founded on. It doesn't get any worse than that. And you know, I've been thinking and thinking, because even if on Thursday night, when that bill was passed, Friday it was signed, if I had gotten a U-Haul truck and gotten a lot of my furniture, gone, leased an apartment in either Mount Sterling or Maysville, and then by some wild fluke of the imagination, I were elected by those fine folks, And I came down to Frankfurt on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in January to be sworn in. You know what they'd do? They'd say, you can't come here. You're not duly elected because you do not fit the qualifications to be in the Senate. You haven't lived in your district for a year prior to the election. See, there's no way in the world. And of course, that was well thought through. He's messed with the wrong people. He's messed with the wrong people here, there. And what I will say to you is that we are going to we're going to use positive energy. We are going to turn this back on the people who did it to you. You're going to have good representation. I will work in tandem with Senator Ridley. He doesn't need any help other than just getting to know you folks. That's all he needs. You're right, Tonna. I'm going to end by saying I believe our Representative Kelly Flood is either here, should be here, and she will be addressing you all. She was very eloquent in voting against that legislation. And we appreciate that. There she is. We appreciate that, Representative Flood. We appreciate it. But you know what? A campaign always is enlivened by music. You know, remember when Bill Clinton first ran and there was that "Can't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow," that music would come on and it was always cool for a campaign. And it occurred to me that perhaps a campaign song is an old, well, we all know it. You know, that rousing tune of the War of 1812 with the bombs going off and all that kind of stuff. That really enlivens you, doesn't it? The Philharmonics do it every year. But you know what? That was the War of 1812. This is the War of 2012. And we're going to